Hey, what's going on guys? Marvin here. Welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm going to be answering your questions. If you guys have any questions after watching this video, then just make sure to leave them down below in the comment section of this specific video. If you leave your questions in other videos, chances are I may not get to them. So if you guys have a question that you need answered, make sure to leave them down below in the comment section of this specific video. Also, if you guys want to cut your learning curve in half of the time, if not even less, 90 to 95% of the questions that I get on these Q&As are already answered in my course. So if you guys want to cut their learning curve and stop trying to piece everything together and hoping for the best, then I highly encourage you guys to check out that first link in the description, which is my Amazon wholesale course. Join it if you guys want to speed this business up as fast as possible. With that out of the way, let's get right into the video. All right, so first question comes from Haroon. Is it possible if we list products on Amazon and then someone orders the goods on Amazon, so that starting further process, we buy it from supplier and then ship it directly to the customer, but not sending the goods to Amazon's warehouse first and then dispatching them, only using the Amazon platform to reach customers, but nothing else? I believe in the comment section, I told you this would be FBM, so fulfilled by merchant. It's kind of what I'm understanding. You're either talking about FBM or you're talking about drop shipping. But FBM would be fulfilled by merchant. Essentially everything that Amazon would do for you under the FBA program, you would be doing it yourself. Now, if you're talking about drop shipping, then I'm not super familiar with the drop shipping model. I know people do it. And there's specific ways that you have to do it in order for it to be even feasible on the platform. And there's a lot more things to worry about with that business model. I'm not exactly sure which one you're talking about, but if you don't want to have any of the inventory, you just want to buy it from your supplier and send it directly to the customer, that would be drop shipping. If you want to buy the inventory, store it yourself, and then fulfill the orders after the orders come in from Amazon, then that would be fulfilled by merchant. So you would still benefit from the traffic from the Amazon platform. You would just not have to rely on Amazon's warehouses to do the fulfillment. All right, so next question comes from A. Ruiz. How do I source a wholesale product? I know the product I want to sell, I just want to make sure it will be profitable. So you would just go on to Amazon. If you already know exactly which product you want, just go on Amazon, get a profit loss calculator, see what the fees are going to be, see what price you can get it at. And then if it's profitable, then you go from there. If you have inclination to think that it's a good product, then you can reverse source that product. So essentially you would find the product that you want, which sounds like you already have, and then you would look for a supplier that can sell you that product at a wholesale price. But to source products, there's a lot of different ways to do that. That's just one way to do it. Find the product, then find the supplier, or you can find the supplier that has a bunch of products. All right, next question comes from Matthew Taylor. I've seen some softwares that helps with generating listings for multiple marketplaces. It seems like a real time saver if it works well. Do you know of anyone that is using one and what their experience is with it? It's hard to tell if these actually work with various marketplaces. There are a ton of softwares just like this where it essentially lists your product on all the marketplaces that you're selling it on if they integrate with that specific software. So the ones that come to mind are Co-Merchant, Listing Mirror, and I will post up a few other ones right here on the screen. But there's tons and tons of these softwares on the market. You just have to test out which one's gonna work well for you, and then obviously look at price and see which one would fit you and your business at this stage, and then go from there. All right, so this one comes from C. Firstman. How do I send to Amazon for them to prep? I started one test batch and they wanted me to prep it before I sent it. Why? So that just means that in your shipping plan, you put that who is going to prep this is going to be merchant. Once you create a shipping plan, you will let Amazon know who you want labeling these products, whether you're going to label them beforehand, which would be merchant, or you would select Amazon to label them. So you would just ship it as it is, and Amazon would label them when they get there. Then there's going to be another section where it says who is going to prep this. So if you put merchant on who is going to prep, that means you would have already prepped them before sending them to Amazon. If you put you want Amazon to prep it, then again, you would just send them in the condition that they're in. And once they get there, Amazon will charge you a fee and prep those products for you. But it's all gonna be in the options that you choose within your shipping plan. So if you've already created the shipping plan and it's not the way that you want it, just delete it and restart it, and then make sure you click the right options for you. All right, next question comes from Nero. What kind of prices do suppliers sell at? Is it like 40 or 30% off retail? I want to know a ballpark so I don't get gamed or taken advantage of as an ignorant new guy. So as long as you know how to do product research, you're not gonna get taken advantage of. Now, usually it just varies and it's gonna be off of manufacturer's suggested retail price. So it can be 30, 40, 50%, but it's off the MSRP, not necessarily the price that it's selling at everywhere. So if MSRP, the product is $60, you may get a discount at, let's say, 30%. So it's going to be a good discount, but everywhere it's not selling for 60. In the general stores on Amazon, it's selling for, let's say, $40, right? So that percentage isn't really going to matter if it's not going to be profitable. So as long as you know how to do product research and you look at the history, not just an inflated price, then you're not going to get taken advantage of because you know what you're doing, right? So if you don't know what you're doing, then it's easy for you to make a mistake. Not necessarily somebody's going to take advantage of you, because if it's a legitimate supplier, they have no interest in taking advantage of you. They have interest in doing recurring business. And if they take advantage of you for one time, why would you go back there, right? So if it's a scammy sort of supplier, then that may be more of the case. But if it's a legit supplier, you just have to know what you're doing beforehand. Know how to do product research, look at the data, not just that initial price that you see. So that's what I would recommend. Learn how to do product research properly so that you don't lose any money on products. All right, so next question comes from Attic. Do you advise the new Amazon wholesale sellers to sell the products at break-even price to build some selling history and build the relationship with distributors? And he wrote during the initial 3 to 6 months. Now, I know some people do this. I have never been a fan of this, and I have never recommended you to do this. If you have to, it's okay to take a smaller profit, but to break even and source that product with the intention of breaking even, it just doesn't make any sense to me. There's not a scarce amount of suppliers or a scarce amount of products. You just have to put the work in to find those products, and they will be profitable. If you have a supplier that you think is going to work really well with you and your business, and their prices aren't exactly where you want them to be, then it's okay to take a lower percentage, but still have a percentage of profit that you're making. Because if you go in with the intention of breaking even and then the price drops, you're not going to break even. You're going to take a big loss. And if you do this for 6 months, that's a long time. So I would say look for products that are profitable. And if you have to, take a smaller margin or a smaller profit, but you know the data. So you know the history of this product. So you're not going to put yourself at big risk, especially if you're just starting out. You don't want to burn through your money and then actually be losing money every single month. You want to grow your money. Even if it's growing slowly at first, you want to grow that money over time. And I have another video, I can't remember exactly where I talked about it, but my best supplier didn't start off with great margins, barely gave me any sort of discounts whatsoever, but I saw a lot of potential in that supplier and I liked how they operated their business. So I took the time to work with them, make a lot of orders at smaller profit, and it paid off in the end. So sometimes you just take a smaller profit and then it'll pay off in the end, but break even or go at a loss, me personally, I wouldn't recommend that. Now, your second question on here is how do I identify the price war on any listing? If you're talking about like predicting a potential drop in price, then you would get that from the keeper graph and looking at the history of the listing. Now, if you're talking about how do I know a price war is going on currently, you would just see the sellers continuously dropping the price and one dropping it a little bit more than the other, and it's just a trickling effect down. If you're involved in it and you know somebody's undercutting you by a few cents or a cent, and every time you lower the price or you match them and they keep dropping and dropping and dropping it, that's just the beginning of a race to the bottom. So just make sure you're aware of that. Don't get caught up in that race to the bottom. Be smart about it. If there's situations where it's okay to sell at a lower margin, there's situations where it's okay to sell at a lower profit, and there's situations where it's probably a better idea to just hold on to it for a few days and see where that listing's going to go, if that seller's going to sell out or not. But that's how you would identify it. All right, so last question. Do you private label or just wholesale? So I only wholesale right now. But with that being said, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing private label. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing arbitrage or anything like that. Would I ever private label down the road? Maybe. I'm not sure, but I'm not closing the door off to that because Amazon doesn't have to be one specific model. I think in the beginning, it's smarter to go one direction, because I did try to do private label and wholesale and arbitrage. When I first started out, I tried doing all of them at the same time, and it was a disaster. I wouldn't move into private label until I had systems in place where I feel comfortable dedicating a ton of time to just private label and not letting my business fall apart on the other end. But right now, I have growth that I want to achieve with wholesale, and I want that to be my only focus. But don't close your guys' self off to doing other business models. So if you want to do private label down the road, but your wholesale's working for you, stick to wholesale, do private label down the road. Same thing with arbitrage. I think in the beginning when Amazon was first popping off, it was almost like sections, right? Like people would say just private label or just arbitrage or just wholesale. And I found myself guilty of that too when I came onto the platform, of identifying as one and pretty much saying this is the best, right? It's true for myself. Wholesale is the best. I've tried all the models and that's what worked the best for me. There's been people who have tried private label and they've had incredible success, and that's the model that they want to pursue. Same thing with arbitrage. That's the business that just resonates with them the most, and that's what they stick to. But don't close yourself off to trying different things within your Amazon business. Right now, my business is an Amazon wholesale business, but at the end of the day, it's an Amazon business that could entail private label, could entail arbitrage, could entail everything. And I think that's important to always keep in mind. Don't close yourself off to opportunities down the road, because those opportunities may be very profitable and very beneficial for your business. All right, but if you guys have any additional questions, again, make sure to leave them down below in the comment section of this specific video. If you leave them in other videos, I get a ton of spam comments from that one crypto video that's getting a lot of traction, so they tend to bleed over into other videos, so your question might not get answered. So if you guys want your question answered, you have a problem you're dealing with your business, just make sure to leave them down below in the comment section of this specific video. Now, like I said, if you guys want to cut your learning curve in half of the time, 90 to 95% of the questions that I always get are already within my course. So just check out that first link in the description if you guys are interested in that. If you're not ready to take the leap quite yet, then I highly encourage you to watch the video. It's going to pop up on screen where I teach you how to get started with Amazon wholesale step by step. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video.